See, in life, when a man comes of age, there are some things that will lead a man as he goes on in his life. Number one, principle. As a human being, you need to set boundaries to things you'll take, but you will not take. But when you have a human being, that your principles are soiled, you are violated, you are pummeled, you are beaten, you are bullied, and you go back to beg your oppressors, you have failed as a man. So when you have people that create these conditions in society to pummel people to the extent of the fact that they cannot stand up for themselves, then the man in those people died. So I would like to ask Governor Fubara, how do you feel today? Your fellow governors, 11 governors of PDP states, stood up for you. They took a case to court that the Supreme Court did not hear. People spoke up against the injustice, not because of you anyway, but because of the seat of the governor that they felt was being desecrated. And today, you go back and meet the same people that oppressed you, the same person you call your father that couldn't side with you when the chaos started, the same person that used the state of emergency to humiliate you for another person. Then you go back to him and you went to report to him and say, Daddy, I'm here, you. So with what eyes do you want those other 11 governors that stood up for you to look at you? People like the governor of Zamfara and a couple of other states that stood tall for you. So I ask you, where is your thank you to them? Your thank you to them isn't going to kiss the foot of your oppressor. It reminds me of the words of Winston Churchill. When Winston Churchill said, an appeaser is the one that keeps giving the crocodile meat, but hoping that one day the crocodile will eat him last. We have appeasers in this country, not politicians.
You see, some people don't even know what is playing out. And the game, former administrator Ibas is playing, Wike and Tinubu, they don't know what they are up to. Do you understand? That's why they are saying they want to probe Ibas. And Ibas is fighting back, saying he is too big to be probed. And nobody can probe him. That they are not the one who appointed him. Why is he talking like that? Ordinarily, he's not above the law. Yes, we know, you and I know. People are talking about democracy, that is under democracy. They have right. The assembly, Rivers State Assembly have right to probe him, and they are going to probe him, and he's going to account of the money that is allegedly missing under his administration. I was like, and now the man is confidently, I don't know, what do you think it gives him the audacity to say, you cannot probe me, I cannot answer? What? Oh, people don't know. At first, there was no democracy in Rivers State. It was not democracy that played out in Rivers State. It was a dictatorship. Somebody make a command to achieve their agendas, and the agendas, the purpose has been fulfilled. And these people cannot fight this man. They cannot probe him. So even if assembly decided to probe him, the same person who has the capacity to remove the city governor, is it, when you say you probe this person, is it telling him not to answer your invitation? Is that one too difficult for him? Which court are you going to take him to, charge him to? Which EFCC are you going to subject him to, or what? So yes, constitutionally, he's not bigger than the constitution. He himself knows that already, but because of the backing, that's why he's confidently telling you this. So for me, since Fubara have moved on, assembly resumed work, all of them, they should just focus on their job. Just leave Ibas alone. That one, do not allow that to discourage you or to stop you doing whatever you want to do. That money is gone, it's gone. I've told you they give this man opportunity to come and make money. What are we saying today? 6 months in office, 200 and something billion has been saying is missing. Somebody who know now, Ibas is too big for them. If Tinubu and Wike should be thanking him for accepting the job, because ordinarily, for somebody who have integrity, if we live in a democracy, Ibas should have said no to Tinubu, that he cannot be used to fulfill their agenda. He should have said no, if at all he has outer of integrity. No, there's no shame. There's no integrity. People, if we live in a normal society, something that we did not stop him. Anyways, seeing Fubara now, what do you see? Anyways, just listen to this video. That's why I like this guy. Rufai, just listen to this video. We'll come back and talk about it. But please do me a favor. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Be your guy runner for me now.
The Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara's visit to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the Aso Rock Villa on Monday, which he described as a father and son discussion following his return to office after lifting of the emergency rule in his state. Fubara met with President on Monday evening, and both leaders were photographed exchanging pleasantries. Speaking with State House correspondents after the closed-door meeting, Fubara explained that it was proper protocol for him to see the president and formally notify him of his return to office.
You are aware that the suspension was lifted on the 17th, midnight 17th, and I came in on the 19th. Ideally, it's proper for me to see Mr. President, to tell him that I'm back, and I've also resumed my responsibility as the governor of Rivers State. It's not much, it's father-son discussion, telling him thank you, and the areas where, if at all, there should be any issue, for him to guide me properly, so we don't be in any situation that will bring crisis again. I don't know what you mean by, is it a paper piece or a real piece? So long as I'm concerned, we have made peace. My Fubara and his principal are working together.
The return of the prodigal son. That's what it appeared to be. I mean, it says father and son meeting. Peace has returned to River State. Well, this meeting signals an apparent reconciliation between Fubara and the federal government. And his decision not to challenge the constitutionality of the emergency rule appears to have, smoothed relations with the executive. I'll take reactions. This person wrote on Instagram. A whole governor was illegally removed, treated like a cat. His state handed to a sole administrator, humiliated, and even had an illegal election conducted over his head. Now, the same man is visiting his oppressors and even thanking them. No be juju be that. Fubara, it's time to man up. Another ex-user wrote, what we lack is politicians with principles and ethics. Why romancing the president after you are denied your constitutional mandate? It's better to be a hero today than to be remembered as a coward. Well, David wrote, you did the right thing. Don't mind those who want to benefit from the crisis. You wear the shoe and you know where it pinches. You are elected to provide good governance to your people. Focus on that. I mean, we did see this video trending on social media, but some people were asking some questions because we saw the Imo State governor there. And let me take this tweet, this post from Instagram. This is from Excellent Tony. Wrote, how come my state governor, His Excellency Hope Uzodinma, has become Abuja governor, an Aso Rock occupant? Always on ground to bid Tinubu goodbye, and on ground to welcome him back. Now on ground to welcome Tinubu's guests. No wonder he's nicknamed the Supreme Court governor. Dr. Bat is cracking up. But I want to give Rufai Oseni here the floor before I take this reaction. Go ahead.
Oji.
Dr. Bat, I saw you cracking up about this Hope Uzodinma, always there, right at the Aso Rock Villa. What's really going on here? I mean, is there something we're missing? Because I know you were very popular when you talked about the fact that he was, waving goodbye. He was among the governors there. Go ahead.
Anyway, the basic point that we're making is that many of these governors who seem to have developed the habit of always hanging around Abuja, hanging around Aso Villa. If they do not make appearances at the airport to constitute themselves into the equivalent of permanent sculptures at the international airport, either welcoming the president or waving at him, they hang around the office of the president in an unnecessary show of sycophancy. And this is why many of their constituents are saying they want their governors to sit at home and do the work. But these are also politicians. Some of them, they need to hang around the president to at least give effect to one phenomenon that is called elite capture. They have to be there. Their state is not good enough for them. They always have to be around the corridors of power. We don't know what Governor Hope Uzodinma is doing in the president's office.
Well, we saw him welcoming Fubara.
Okay. He went to join the welcome party.
I saw that.
I think there are more important things in Imo State. If you have information on that, there are more important things than to turn Imo State into a welcoming state in the presidential corridor of power. We would like to see the various governors, not just Governor Hope Uzodinma, staying at home and doing their work. But in any case, they will say what is our own in the matter. After all, it's the people of Imo State who have to be using analgesics for whatever pain that they are suffering.
Oh, they are sending me messages. They're asking, what is our governor? Yeah, that was one of the things. What is our governor doing there? Please, we need him in our state. As
for the civil servant, who is a governor in Rivers State, I've already said that, look, this is a civil servant mentality. People have treated you badly. They have other people have supported you, and he used his mouth to go and say what the president did is very good. Something that lawyers have said is unconstitutional, illegal. Rivers elders and leaders of thought, they stood up for him. Your Youth Congress, they stood up for him. The women went onto the streets, and then he just threw all these people, under the bus to go and genuflect. Now, it's not compulsory that he talks. If he's an obedient civil servant, okay, he's governor now. If he has nothing intelligent to say, he can keep quiet. So what is all that granting interviews and just vomiting from the mouth instead of taking a principal position? I made a point.
Yeah.
I hope that the terms of the settlement in this particular matter will come to light one day. We don't want to hear that a certain godfather somewhere has to be settled with Rivers State resources on a monthly basis so that there will be peace. That must not be the case. Right. Because this same House of Assembly must always in Rivers State ask for accountability and integrity. So it cannot negotiate away the primary interest of the people of Rivers State. So he has gone there. I don't know how many times he prostrated to the president. They didn't show that on television. We also don't know where else he has gone to prostrate. But now that they have brought him back and he's very happy to have been brought back, let him go back and do the work.
Let him go and do the work. Let me read a comment. This person wrote, Fubara has a new father now. His name is Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Hopefully he goes to APC. That will give him some covering and may even help in twists of his second term ambition.
Now our papa be this, so we don't get another one. Now our papa be this, so
Rufi! Okay, Ayo, let's go to another story now.
You have a...
what does he have? What does he have?
Okay.
What do you mean?
No, Lagos State.
Lagos
State.
You don't have Godfather.
No, he says
you don't have Godfather in Lagos State.
Is it not your state you returned Abasa?
All right, since you don't have a godfather in Lagos State, let me take this story and then maybe you can reply or you can respond to this in another development.
Yesterday, I mean, it wasn't an argument per se, it was just, a conversation back and forth about the State House of Assembly probing Ibas 6 months spending. Some have said it is Rivers State money and so, they should probe it. Some have said they didn't appoint him to office in the first instance, so cannot ask him questions because it wasn't democracy that was in play at the time. What are your thoughts on this?
I think the former
sole
administrator is totally wrong. He needs to submit himself to the constitutional authority, which is the State House of Assembly. He needs to understand that this is not military regime, this is democracy. And in democracy, accountability, transparency, ordinarily should be the watchword. But unfortunately, we seem to be running a system that you can't even define. You can't define what we run in this country today. You don't know whether to call it democracy, whether to call it oligarchy, you can't define it. But you see, it's coming from a point, like I said, and like I keep saying, when you are not instrumental to bringing somebody to power, it becomes difficult for you to hold that person accountable. And that is where he's standing right now. He's standing at that position where the political class will tell the Nigerian people, you can't hold me accountable because we gave you this and this before the elections. So the National Assembly that supported the presidency to bring him to power should be the ones to probe him.
Oh, so you're saying the State Assembly cannot...
No, don't misquote me. I said the National Assembly that used the voice vote to put him there should probe him.
Well, the National Assembly cannot usurp the authorities of the State Assembly.
They usurp that power when they foisted
but it was a state of emergency.
Unconstitutional government on the people of Ibas.
But it was a state of emergency at the time.
Let them go, yes. That power they use in the stolen state of emergency, let them use that power to probe him.
Okay, now Prince, are you aware that the said appropriation, budget, whatever that were listed, were also approved by the House of Representatives? We, at that time, had the purview, it was under the purview to make laws for the good governance and administration of Rivers State. So shouldn't they be the one, legally speaking, to probe him, to ask questions?
Don't forget.
Come and tell us how you spend that money.
Don't forget that when the democratically elected government in Rivers State was suspended, there was no budget in place. It was part of the problem they had with Fubara. They said Fubara presented budget to 4 members. And when the House came back, they said, we present the budget, which was what the court asked Fubara to do. And that was where the whole drama started falling apart. Now, when Ibas came in, Ibas also presented the budget to the National Assembly, not to the state.
To the House of Representatives.
That's what I'm saying. Let them go back there. Let them be the ones to probe him.
Exactly the point now. So,
let them be the ones to probe him.
Now, the question is, like you said, let them be the ones to probe him. So, should it be the concern of the Rivers Assembly? They didn't approve the budget. So, what should they probe them? Is the House of Reps that approved it? It is an
aberration. That aberration needs to be resolved.
All right, then let's take this conversation to a veteran. Let's go to Jude now. I beg your pardon. Let's go to Edwin Adai. Your thoughts on this, really, very quickly.
For the sole administrator who supervises the administration and the management of Rivers State for 6 months to say that the State Assembly lacked locals to investigate him, it is an ignoramus statement. We practice democracy in Nigeria. the principle of democracy advocates for separation of power. And therefore, the man did not serve in the national level. He served in Rivers State.
With authority from the national level.
The people of Rivers State to
He
know.
served with authority from the National Assembly.
Look, it doesn't matter the authority. He served in Rivers State.
Okay.
And therefore, the people of Rivers State deserve to know. They deserve to know. They have the right to know. The State Assembly were elected by the people of Rivers State. And therefore, if he administered the affairs of the state in 6 months, and the State Assembly decide to say, look, the principle of democracy advocates for transparency. The principle of democracy advocates for accountability. And the principle of democracy advocates for freedom of information. So it is not a big thing. These are very mundane and normal things for every sensible people. If even me as an individual, it doesn't have to even be an institution, of government. I have the right to know, and it is his right to actually inform me and tell me how he is able to administer the state for 6 months.
Now, do you think that there are to this?
Assembly, it is the right of the people of Rivers State to know. What is the big deal? If you don't have any skeleton in your cupboard, what is the big deal for the State Assembly to request for you to come and give an account of your stewardship in 6 months?
Mr. Adai Edwin, Mr. Adai Edwin, do you think there are more to this? Because you can recall that it took, I think, double or triple reshuffling before the then sole administrator could appear before the National Assembly to tell them what the money he budgeted for when he went for defense. They invited him over for defense. He couldn't go, but he was in Abuja to attend the FEC meeting and all that. Do you think there'll be having more to this particular reason why he's calling the invitation of the State Assembly now a bluff?
That action can be interpreted as high-heartedness, arrogance, and has nothing to do with the practices of democracy. If you are a leader, what are you scared of? Why don't you want to give account to the people you claim to serve? It doesn't matter how you come into office.
Okay.
Nigeria as a nation has accepted democracy as a principle of governance.
All right, then. But
whether by new administrator or by elected or by appointment.
Thank you very much.
It doesn't matter the process that you come in.
All right,
as far as Nigeria has accepted that democracy is the principle at which we must govern the people,
all right.
The principle of democracy must be adhered and followed.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, Edwin.
Anything less is unacceptable.
Presidential spokesperson Bayo Ononuga has dismissed former Kaduna Governor Nasiru El-Rufai's suggestion that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu could attempt to become a life president, describing the claim as baseless and absurd. The sharp exchange follows El-Rufai's warning over the weekend that Tinubu could try to cling to power like Cameroon's 92-year-old Paul Biya if Nigerians fail to unite against him in the 2027 election.
This is that we are facing an evil of such a large proportion in the history of this country that if we don't all come together and end this Tinubu administration by 2027, Tinubu will try to be our Kobia. He will be president for life.
All right. Well, in a post on X, Ononuga accused El-Rufai of making unfounded claims and speculations about the president, suggesting the former governor has realized the futility of attempts by his new party associates to stop Tinubu's re-election bid. And I'll take by Ononuga's tweet in part. He wrote, after reports of the grand reception President Tinubu received in Kaduna last Friday, El-Rufai was clearly surprised by the depth of support the president continues to enjoy in the north. He stands in stark contrast to his narrative that the region has abandoned the president. In response, he resorted to spreading further unfounded stories, including the claim that President Tinubu intends to become a life president after 2027, a speculation that is baseless and absurd. President Tinubu is a Democrat who does not intend to stay in office beyond May 28, 2031, when re-elected in 2027. And I'll just take a comment, Ayo, before I come to you. This person wrote on X, El-Rufai warning that Tinubu wants to be president for life is comedy gold. At Tinubu's age, he's more likely focused on cementing a legacy than chasing some endless throne. The real story here is that the old cash cows have been led out of their pens, and people like El-Rufai don't know how to survive without a pipeline to public funds. So they dress up their panic as patriotism, hoping Nigerians will shield them while they plot a comeback. Nobody's buying it. this isn't about saving democracy, it's about saving their allowances. I mean, these are some of the comments that we've seen, some backing El Rufai, some backing the fact that Tinubu might actually be our next Paul Biya.
Oh, okay. Right, so I know that Dr. Bati strongly opines that it cannot happen in Nigeria, that Nigeria is not Cameroon, Nigeria is not Zimbabwe, Nigeria is not even Chad, who recently passed a law that could guarantee that their president could run for life if he chose to. But on saying that, let us look at, when we talk about President Tinubu being a true Democrat, the question for me is, does what Mr. El Rufai said, does it hold any credence? Is there any weight to it? Remember that he and the president enjoyed a close relationship at some point. Recall that during the elections campaign season, he was one of the few who stood solidly behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Even against the Naira redesign policy, he spoke out very boldly. And he was actually considered for ministerial position until something was, there were questions around security for him. And after that, we started to see the finding of his voice against this government. And part of what he's now said is that having known the president, he does not believe that he's a true Democrat, he's a pretender. Let's look at some of the things that you can look to measure, because let's show working. Let me put it that way. You don't just make claims. Let us see if there's any credence to what he said. Under a true democracy, we can look at some symptoms of a failing democracy. One of which is the weakening of checks and balances. And what is supposed to be checks and balances for the executive? We have the legislature and we have the judiciary. OG, more than ever before, at least in this post-military rule 1999, have we seen a National Assembly, a legislature as weak as it is now, whereby the president, whatever the president asks for or wishes for, they accede to it. I mean, this is a National Assembly that the president visits and they're singing, "On your mandate, we shall stand." How will they check and balance anything? I'm concerned, to be quite frank, that if he does bring up a bill to suggest perhaps a lifetime opportunity for an individual to run, they will not oppose it, unlike what we had during the legislature in President Olusegun Obasanjo's time, when he mulled the idea of a 5-year term and they kicked against it. I am not sure that this current National Assembly has the willpower or the strength on the independence to speak against it. The judiciary, all eyes on the judiciary was what was reigning at post-2023 elections. We've talked about how we need to strengthen the institution of the judiciary. We've talked about what happened in Rivers State, that under a true Democrat, that should never have happened. That aberration and a disgrace to our democracy should not have happened. And this happened under the tenure, under the administration of a true Democrat. And so the question then is, do we have a true democracy under a Democrat? That's why we can ask the question that, are we really sure that if he ever decided that he liked the seat so much and wanted to extend his tenure, would have institutions to block that? How about INEC? Under this tenure, let us have free and fair elections so that the will of the people would be supreme. We have seen shambolic elections under this democratic government. And so you keep asking the question, is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a true Democrat, as he's often been said to be? So let us weigh the statements. Well, yes, I know that the presidency will come out in defense of their principle, but in order to demonstrate that he's a true Democrat, it's not just by saying it, show working.
Well said, Ayo. Well said.
And I repeat the point that the countervailing force will be the resolve of the people of Nigeria.
The people of Nigeria.
To say that whatever has happened in Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Chad, and Cameroon, and Cote d'Ivoire will not happen in Nigeria.
I mean, yesterday we took the story about Obasanjo, and then, the Nigerian people spoke against the third term. So hopefully
to say you want to be president for life, you will need to change the constitution. The process of changing the constitution in Nigeria is not by any president dictating. Apart from having 2/3 of the two houses in the National Assembly, you will also need the concurrence of the state houses of assembly. So who is that person in this country who will just go to the south, change the situation, southeast, northwest, northeast? That's why I say it's impracticable here. This is not Cameroon. This is not Rwanda.
Can I just also say that, these are serious concerns, really serious concerns, and we should also speak up. I think that it is important that you're saying that this is not Cameroon, this is not, all those other countries. But these are serious concerns, given that there are stories about state capture that we've just seen, and you are saying that you don't have a godfather, but I would agree.
One man from Lagos State, we capture Nigeria.
Well, I mean, is it
will not be Nigeria.
Dr. Bati said it is impractical. So,
the same man that changed national anthem in 2 days, that national assembly passed it in less than 2 days.
So that one you didn't make constitutional.
No, but he changed national anthem in 2 days. The national anthem will tell you when they debated the national anthem word across all the houses.
All right, we've been on the issue of
what is after they told us that they passed national anthem. Nigeria,
for 162 days.
For 162 days.
All right, but the good thing is that we've been on the issue of constitutional amendment for a while now. So, you have some points saying that it may be very difficult.
Even you will carry placard.
I will. What will be the song on your mandate? All right, can we go?
So that is just it. Now, 6 months state of emergency has been declared, has been announced, has been lifted. Everybody move on. They moved on. We talk. How many days now? How many days? Today is 24th, isn't it? So they moved on already. This is the problem we are having in this country. We talk. We don't act, we don't take actions. That is the problem. If we live in a normal society, in a safe society where things are working, at first, a state of emergency declared by president would have been resisted. because it was not constitutional, because we live in a democracy. But Tinubu came and decided to do what pleases him, go against constitutions, go against democracy, and now he's not a dictator. He's a dictator. He dictates what happened in the country, and nobody can do anything. That is the reason, because he's too powerful. Ordinarily, it wouldn't have started if people have come to say, no, these things, injustice must not stand. For the fact that you people allow the injustices to stand, and the finish is being lifted, there's nothing anybody can do about it again. Probing Ibas or not probing Ibas does not mean anything again. Moved on. Ibas fulfill his agenda. Moved on. Since Fubara, his whole time has come again. He has moved on by visiting his oppressor. He's moved on. He has agreed with the terms and conditions. Anybody assembly, it is not even the same Fubara. I don't even think so. So even now, same Fubara is still being monitored. And if he tries anything now funny, that if he feels like, because he's not the governor, he wants to do anything funny, go against the terms and conditions given to him before he comes back, the next thing is to impeach him. Now, the people in that assembly are already more than his supporters and more than the party. So he can't even do his ice water, cold water now. Do you understand? So leave Ibas. Oh, the assembly cannot probe Ibas. Yes, constitutionally, he's not bigger than the constitution. That's what people are saying. When you listen to one person said, two persons said, third person said, the next person said, Ibas is not bigger than constitution, it's not bigger than constitution. That is constitutionally, that is a democracy. But are we living in a democracy? The answer is no. Was it democracy that brought Ibas to be the governor? Was it a democracy that brought him? The answer is no. So now the things has happened. You are talking about democracy to probe him that will leave order in them. No. The only way we can talk about democracy, going back to democracy that we practice again, is after 2027, if at all they are able to dislodge Tinubu, they are able to take power from him, then he goes back to body law. That's where you can start thinking about democracy, because as it stands now, we are not living under any democracy. We are living under a dictatorship who dictates what happened. Now, if you this is not even if you already know this, that 3 arms of government has been hijacked by this same person. The people in the House of Assembly are answerable to this same person. So this House of Assembly do not have say of their own. They don't do according to constitutions again. They do according to the person in charge, according to the president. So that is a problem. Do you understand? So they should just leave Ibas. The reasons why Ibas is saying he's too big and he's fighting back, that they can't probe him, it's because of the backing, like I said. Is it the only person that is Tinubu and Wike? Is it Tinubu and Wike that want to probe Ibas? The answer is no. They can't. They can't. All of them, the 3 of them, they are happy. Mission fulfilled. They are happy. Anything outside of 3 of them is 0 over 100 again. There's nothing anybody can do about it. Either to probe him for what? To bring the money? No. To bring the money back to the assembly or back to the state? No. No, the state has money. A lot of people can come and make money anyhow. That is the problem. So we are not fighting. All that happens, it happens already. What was the reason? Why did it happen? The reason why that happened is what we are as the Nigerians, as a concerned Nigerians, what we are going to, what we are looking at. Making sure that this person, because the only thing is how we have to manage it. Whatever happens 2027 is to manage it till that time. That's when Nigerians will come together to say, no, this person do not deserve second term. He's a one-term president. Otherwise, all the little, whatever you are saying today, all the institutions are still going to be broken if this man continues in 2027. That is the only way. That's the only thing. So we need to just save our energy and wait till that time. Is when we are able to send this person back to body law, another person come, decided to practice democracy, return this country back to democracy. That's where we can start thinking of when things like this happens next time, then this is what they are going to do. Then the House of Assembly, they are going to listen to you. They are going to do according to the constitutions, not according to the president. Because at that time, the president will not hijack them. Do you understand? So except we have another person like Tinubu who decided to behave like him to achieve his purpose. Do you understand? Other than that, so now till that time, there's nothing anybody can do. We are in this problem, in this mess. The country is in a mess already. Every state now, you're talking of what is going on in those states, talking about Rivers State, talking about this. So now we have feeding bottle governors. Governors who are feeding from feeding bottles. That is it. They are baby governors. That's what we have most of these days. So it happens. Anyways. Now, seeing Fubara, anyways, you are going to visit his oppressor, saying that he is now his father. He found new father. He's happy and rejoicing with the conditions. Disrespect these people who stood tall for him. Respect them. And those people now, what do you want them? Because for him to have done this, it means he's no longer in PDP. He has moved across to APC. So what it left for him is just for him to resign, officially resigned and move to APC. That is it. So other than that, nothing. Zero. So anyways, what do you think? They just leave Ibas alone because Ibas, there's nothing will come out of this. What do you think? Please leave your honest opinion, your honest comments, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy, Narona, for me.